Hello, this presentation will be about the major changes with the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, from the former North American Free Trade Agreement, aka NAFTA, and its benefits to all parties involved. This article will describe the differences between the old NAFTA agreement and the new USMCA agreement. To summarize this article, the USMCA came into effect July 1, 2020 and replaced former NAFTA, which had gone into effect in 1994. The agreement is meant to ensure the prosperity and cooperation of all three countries. It creates more balanced, reciprocal trade supporting high-paying jobs for North Americans and works to grow the North American economy. The new agreement is extremely important because it modernizes much of what the work that NAFTA had set out to do. In a world that is constantly changing and adapting, it is important to continually assess agreements and make the changes necessary to adjust to the growing world. One of the USMCA's main roles is to promote and protect free trade between the three countries that make up North America, so Canada, the United States, and Mexico. The article summarizes these key differences between the old agreement and the new agreement. The main point of this presentation is to prove that the USMCA provides many pros that will make production in North America more profitable and efficient and outweigh any cons, benefiting all parties involved, i.e. all three countries. Before we jump into the pros and cons of this agreement, let's talk about the history of NAFTA and the USMCA. NAFTA came into effect under the Clinton administration in 1994. The purpose of the agreement was to boost trade within North America and especially to get Mexico more involved with large developed countries such as Canada and the US. It aimed to get rid of trade barriers between the countries, as well as most taxes and tariffs on goods imported and exported. The USMCA was negotiated under the Trump administration, but the idea of the USMCA, or a replacement for NAFTA, dates back to before Trump's term. Over NAFTA's history, it was blamed for the export of US manufacturing to Mexico and the correlated loss of jobs from the reduction of US workers' wages. The first change from NAFTA to USMCA was the increased protections for workers in Mexico mean increased opportunities for workers based in the U.S. as wage gaps decrease. Strict labor laws were set in place with the New Deal to ensure labor rights and fair pay for work, in particular for Mexico. The second change was reducing protections for drug companies. Drug manufacturers can no longer enjoy monopolistic control over biologics. The third change that came out of this new agreement was increasing protections for technology firms. Restructured protections for these firms keeps the firms competitive while maintaining incentives for growth. Another change that came out of the new agreement was incentivizing North American manufacturing companies to keep the production in North America. Decreased or eliminated tariffs reduce costs of production and trade, which ultimately lower retail prices for consumers and increases profits for companies. Everyone will benefit from rules that match the current free trade agreement. The benefits with USMCA involve various boosts to productivity levels and trade within North America, as well as protections for vulnerable individuals and industries. The benefits are abundant in the new USMCA for various stakeholders within North America and beyond. The biggest beneficiaries are workers, the environment, North America manufacturing, and all data and healthcare stakeholders. The agreement creates a more level playing field for American workers, which includes improved rules or origin for automobiles, trucks, other products, and disciplines on currency manipulation. American workers are also positively impacted because of the modernization and strengthening of the food and agriculture industry. The U.S. farmers will have greater access to Canadian dairy market because of the USMCA's raise in the amount of goods that can be exported to Canada tariff-free. Automobile manufacturing and industry will also be benefited. The USMCA increases the minimum requirements of components manufactured in one of the three countries to 75% versus a 62.5% under NAFTA. In addition, the agreement affects the wages of workers, stating that 40 to 45% of the work completed on an eligible vehicle must be done by workers earning a minimum of 16 USD per hour. This article relates to a few topics covered in the International Business course. One of the topics discussed were reasons why governments intervene in trade policy. Governments will intervene to protect jobs and industries, protect the environment, protect consumers, and many more reasons. These areas were covered in this article because the governments of the US, Mexico, and Canada believed that NAFTA was beginning to become outdated and that a new, refreshed, and modernized agreement was needed. For example, the governments were wanting to protect jobs and industries to ensure that the industries stayed afloat and do not go bankrupt. In conclusion, the changes in this presentation are composites outlining the most significant of the many smaller-scale updates and revisions that USMCA offers. As with any change, compromise is involved, and benefits in one area are counterbalanced by costs in others. Overall, the pros of the USMCA come from restructured protections and incentives that will make production in North America more profitable and efficient. These protections also maintain ethical boundaries and prevent the exploitation of North American laborers. These same protections may entail costs and other frictions which can amount to cons. However, these are a small price to pay for a sustainable manufacturing and trade future in North America. While some of the provisions in the USMCA may technically raise production costs in certain industries, the benefits of labor, environmental, and privacy protections far outweigh these costs. This goes for both the short and long terms of all three countries. With the implementation of the new agreement, this will change the course of global trade significantly and for the better.